Hi, everyone. Can you all hear me? I hope so. All right. So, for our session, we'd like to explain why study in Melbourne. So, I've got two special guests here with me. The first one being Julian from Study Melbourne, and he's going to give you an explanation why you should study in this beautiful city of Melbourne. And the second guest speaker I have is Rama. So, Rama Halim, he is one of our students here at Torrens University on our Melbourne campus, and he's going to share some personal insights, what student life is like, and what's it like being a member of the Student Rep Council. And as for myself, I will give a short run through as to what supports we have available at our Torrens University Melbourne campus. And just the general student life here as well. So, without further ado, Julian, if you'd like to take the stage, please.
Thank you, Karima. And thanks for having me, Torrens. I'm really happy to be here today to talk a little bit about Melbourne as a study destination. And I'll try and focus on a couple of things that are a little bit, I guess, personal to me, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the role that I do with Victorian government and sort of use that as an example of, again, another really good set of reasons to come and study here in Melbourne. But basically, look, I'm a native New South Welsh person, but that's a different state here in Australia. But I would have to say that Victoria, in my opinion, and Melbourne specifically, is the most cosmopolitan, multicultural, open-minded, welcoming city for students to come and study from all sorts of locations, be it other parts of Australia, but also internationally. So I just want to make sure that everyone really realizes that the streets of Melbourne are really a very exciting, interesting, mixed, varied place to come and spend a few years as a student. And then if you choose to stay a bit longer and work, and then if you choose to stay longer again, live. So my experience, and that's not sort of someone who's just sort of lived in Sydney and Melbourne, that's someone who's lived around the world. So I've done a lot of work in international education, lived in Singapore, lived in Japan, lived in Switzerland, lived in Montreal and London. So I've lived in a lot of different places, and I can put my hand on my heart and say that Melbourne truly is, like I said, the most cosmopolitan and exciting and open-minded city that I've ever lived in. So let me bring you to the work that I do. And I guess if I try and frame it a little bit, I guess it's really a great indication of the support and the willingness of sort of the Victorian government to really focus on making sure Melbourne and Victoria is a great place to study. And some of the work that we do, some of it is like focuses on a couple of the issues and the little problems that students can come across. But I want to kind of focus on the fact that we are there as a Victorian government support mechanism, which is not actually the case in a lot of other states. We're quite unique in the amount of um, resources that the state government down here puts into ensuring that students studying in Victoria are really well looked after. So let me share my screen for a moment and talk to what I do, and that might shed a little bit of light, and I'll sort of move quickly over some slides that may or may not be super important. But I work for Study Melbourne, and Study Melbourne is part of Victoria's sort of trade and investment department. And then within sort of trade and investment, there's international education, and that team has got a lot of different functions. But then within that team, I work in Study Melbourne, which is a sort of support and programs kind of supplementing and supporting the lives of international students here in Melbourne. And we focus on being an initiative that is purely for international students, that is a dedicated set of services that looks after international students and a dedicated space for international students to come and be and hang out and get to know other students, etc. And on top of that, we fully fund tailored support, career development programs and events to supplement on top of what a student would get at a really good university like Torrens, and on top of that, they will get programs that will help them with either life skills or employment skills or entrepreneurial skills, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So where I work, it's perhaps a little bit abstract to try to explain, but it's one of the small laneways in Melbourne, which is famous for small laneways where you'll often find cafes and restaurants and, streams of students flowing by and moving from campus to home or from campus to the coffee shops or the library or whatever to work. And so there's a lot of action. And one of these laneways called Hardware Lane, we have a great little purpose fitted out building called Study Melbourne Hub. And that's where you'll find me. And that's got a regular stream of international students coming in to use the space, to take some free tea, coffee, hang out, study, connect with other international students, or chat to one of us, the staff members, just to make sure that, they understand what to do, how to have a good time in Melbourne, how to overcome some of those small hurdles that all new students have when they're in a new location, in a new place. And so we'll help them, we support them with a range of different measures. But essentially, what we do is give free and confidential support services to international students. So where it can get a little bit tricky is where sometimes international students can run into some slightly more complicated problems like financial hardship or well-being or mental health problems, and we're there to support them. We've got a staff of 8, and we can grab a student and then try to help them sort of understand the different supports that exist in Melbourne that they can sort of access. And where there might be a gap in what they can access, we can supplement it with what we can give. So for example, we have free legal service available to international students, which is a really popular service. So if a student feels like they have any particular issue that they need to be discussed with a lawyer, they can get a little bit of service, and we're open 9 to 5. And let me just skip over that video because it's just me talking. You don't need to see me again. But that legal service focuses on 2 areas where we see perhaps new students can be a little bit vulnerable to. And I just want to focus on the fact that it's completely free and it's completely funded by Victorian government. And it's not just a sort of, as is the case with some legal services, it's one free session, and then you maybe pay for it after that. This can be, if the issue does require is you going to court or the student going to court, it can be, it's free and fully funded for the entirety of the case, where sometimes they might just get some advice, but sometimes they do have to go to court, and sometimes the court may result in some refunded money and all sorts of things. So it's a really great service, and it's specifically designed to help international students. And it's really unique to Victoria, and it's been around for 9 years. It's been funded for 9 years. So the lawyers that we work with have a really good understanding of how to work with international students, etc. But I want to focus a little bit on some of these supplemental programs that we have. Actually, before I change tack, I don't know, Karima, would we do questions now just to break up my voice, or do you want to make sure that if there's anyone out there that has a question?
I think if anyone has a question, they can pop it up into the chat. If not, we are happy to take all questions at the end. So Julian, if you want to continue, I think that'd be great.
Sure. I was more just going for a pause to my monotonous voice, my monotone voice. But no, right. So let's talk about the programs, because the other thing that I'm involved in is these free, purpose-built, tailored programs that are free and available to international students. And they fall under these 4 categories. And the categories are, the names are slightly hard for you to understand what they actually mean, but I'll just talk to them for a moment. The one in the middle, which purple, is Future Founders. That is our entrepreneurship program. And it's a real sort of Australian first partnership between Victorian government, the State Library of Victoria, and another group that works within the state library, and the 3 bodies all sort of fund and co-run a entrepreneurship program which runs for the course of a year. Within that program is like a competition for international students who want to pitch their idea for a small business or a startup. And through that pitching process, there's a final panel and a final group that are awarded. I don't know what you call it. They're winners, if you like, of the entrepreneurship program, and they get a small seed funding amount. They also get access to a mentor, to somebody who's been, a business person or started their own small business, etc. And they get 6 months or approximately a number of months worth of mentoring and funding to have a go at setting up whatever their idea is. And it finishes with a big festival. It's a really great sort of year on calendar of entrepreneurship. So that's a great thing that really pulls international students in. These are all free and all available completely to international students. Leadership Labs is, as the name suggests, that is a leadership program. So if students feel like they want to get a little jump start on where their career might go, because they might be aspiring managers or leaders in their field. And so this is a set of workshops, programs, mentoring, internships that will give them some skills around leadership. The one on the right, Career Catalyst, is a fantastic one, because one of the things that we Victorian government's very focused on is making sure that students have great employability outcomes at the end of their study. So Career Catalyst tries to bridge that gap that a local student would have as they sort of approach graduation and looking at their career, would have a lot of just natural networks that exist in society. They'd have their dad or their neighbor or someone they grew up with, dad or mum or something, to help them with their networking, to give them a chance at an internship or open a door in a company or in a job, etc., that might give them their very first start to their career. But an international student comes in fairly cold and doesn't have those established networks. So Career Catalyst is a great program that can help you, an international student, develop those networks. They're essentially a series of workshops and events and so on that connect students with industry leaders, teaches them how to develop their resumes, how to pitch themselves, etc., etc. So it's a great program. And Everyday Heroes is kind of like an orientation program that can supplement what universities like Torrens already do. So look, that's enough. I don't want to kind of smash it down your throat, but that is a great little kind of outline of just how much effort and how much sort of priority we place on the experience of a student studying in Melbourne, and we hope that they can get a lot out of their experience of being here, living here, and studying here. So I will just kind of skip through a couple of these. These are some of the events that we host. We have a bunch of sort of grants that we give out to community organizations to support international students. So we give out close to $500,000 worth of grants chopped up to different community-based organizations that specifically come pitch an idea and say, look, we run a soccer club, but we want to really include international students. So can you help us with a bit of funding? And we can advertise it, staff it in a way that will attract students. Or we might have National Gallery of Victoria might want to sort of increase their engagement with a particular cultural group that are international students. So they'll sort of pitch an idea, and if they're successful, they'll get some grant money from us. So that's a great program. The other thing is that Victoria is very connected through our family of hubs that exist around the world. And in particular, we have physical hubs in Shanghai, Ho Chi Minh City, Kuala Lumpur, and we have a virtual hub in India. And those things really support our ability to sort of talk to students, prospective students offshore. It also allows us to do a lot of work making sure they're ready to come to Australia. And then it also does a lot of work sometimes when students return home. We can sometimes engage with them as alumni offshore, etc. So a lot can be done in that space. So look, I think that's probably about all of the elements that my work does to sort of make Melbourne really sort of as best a possible place to come and study. And yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if anyone has any questions at this point, or Karim, if you think I've missed anything.
No, I think that was great, Julian. Thanks so much. Very, very thorough. A lot of information to take in and a lot of amazing reasons why you should come and study in Melbourne.
Yeah. And yeah, I can't encourage it enough.
Awesome. So we are now going to be moving on to the next part. I'm just going to get my slides up. Give me a moment. All right. And just to add on to what Julian has talked about, why study in Melbourne? We are still on this topic, but why should we study in the Melbourne campus for Torrens University specifically? So the first thing I want to talk about is the campus overview. So Torrens University's Melbourne campus has a very, very strategic location. So as you can see from the Google Maps here, it's located right beside the Flinders Street Station. It's located right beside tram stops and is also located right opposite Fed Square. So Fed Square is basically a public space where a lot of free events, public events, sometimes hosted by City of Melbourne, take place. So if our students ever want to engage in these events, which we always encourage, it's very easy to have Torrens Uni as that meeting point or as that starting point where students can then walk together, cross the road. Everything is all pretty much there. But there's also other things going on as well. We've got the NGV, as Julian mentioned before, which is a very, very significant gallery. We've got a lot of coffee shops, cafes, restaurants, and of course, street art as well is very popular around here. So getting to campus by public transport. If a student happens to have accommodation smack in the city, you are very lucky. Because our campus is smack in the city as well, you could just simply walk to campus. So that's the best case scenario. If ever you're a little bit further away, there is also many, many public transportation links. So we've got the tram, where our tram stop is right beside the uni. You've also got the train, where the train station's a 2-minute walk away. If you prefer cycling, there are also bike racks available on the street. Or if you prefer to drive as well, we do have street parking nearby, or we have a parking lot, which is our Wilson's parking as well. So there's a lot of different options for you if you do decide to live, wherever, whether that's in the CBD or whether that's a little bit further away from the campus. So things to do, as I mentioned before, a lot of different things going on. Some of the key things which I have listed here, we've got this Federation Square, which is that space opposite the campus, street art, the Yarra River, Birrarung Mar, Art Centre Melbourne, Alexandra Gardens. So this is just a few of the things I've mentioned, but in fact, there's a lot more to do. And as the year goes by, there are ever-changing events as well. And many of these events are free as well. So if you have international students coming, there is no need to pay for anything, especially if these events are being hosted free of charge. So with regards to Torrens specifically, I want to touch on a little bit about the support we offer our students. So I know there's a lot of text here, but I want to just quickly go through because there is a lot of support we do offer our students. The first one being our student services. So this is our main go-to point of contact for any students, whether they're asking a simple question about, how do I choose my subjects? How do I change my subjects? How do I drop a subject? How do I enroll for a new one? I have a question about something to do with my finance. These are your go-to first point of contact. So to make it easy as well, because we understand that sometimes, international students don't feel confident speaking face to face or on the phone, we do have the option of live chat and emails as well, so that students can choose their preferred avenue. So the next thing I want to touch on is our health and well-being supports. So we do offer free counseling sessions for our students. We also have a 24/7 well-being support line. So if in case a student ever needs immediate support or needs to speak to a mental health professional straight away, they don't have time to make a booking or they don't have necessarily the money to make a booking either, we offer this support as well. And again, you have the option to call via phone, or you have the option to text if that is your preferred method. And the third thing we have here is our accessibility services. So if our students have a mental health condition or any learning differences, we do have a disability liaison advisor who will work with them to create a learning access plan. So this learning access plan can then help them with their studies if in case they need some adjustments or accommodations to assist them with that. Moving on, we've got our success coaches. So, success coach is the terminology we use for our qualified industry professionals, and they help to maximize students' potential for success. So, they do a range of things, whether this is workshops or meeting with students one on one to write down certain goals, how to achieve these goals, or if they are simply struggling with their studies and just need that extra support, especially from, a first year student perspective, they are there to assist as well. With regards to their careers and, when they finish their studies, most likely a lot of our students are looking on to transitioning and moving into the workplace. We have a specific platform which is called Careers Connect. So this platform connects students and industry. Again, these could just be events or networking events with industry partners, which we have partnerships with, or it could also be internship opportunities or even job opportunities. And there is the option for one of our staff members to review things such as cover letters and resumes and give, really detailed and thorough feedback with regards to a position that student may be applying for, or just in general wanting to work on their CV and resume. We also have study success workshops. So this is run by our library team. So we understand that, moving into the world of higher education, a lot of students may not be familiar with the APA 7 referencing style or structuring assignments, how to paraphrase, how to reference, all of these key skills. Our study success workshops will cover those. So again, all of this is free of charge. It is up to the students whether they wish to join these or not, but very, very great support provided with regards to the academic side of things. And finally is our very, very special PAS sessions. So this stands for peer assisted study sessions, which are actually hosted by other Torrens students. And these students are ones who have achieved very, very well in their previous studies, and they have been invited to run these sessions for other students who are currently enrolled in that. So what makes this initiative so great is we actually hire our students part-time to become um, past leaders for other students. So not only do we provide support for our current students, but we are also providing an opportunity for our current students to also earn some income part-time as well. So moving on, we have our community pantry and meal support. So with the, you know, difficulties sometimes students face, we have at our university a community pantry, and how it works is you take what you need, but you give what you can. So there's no questions asked. We do it in a very fair and honest way. There's no judgment involved. You simply take what you need, but if ever you can afford to give back, or there's, a certain can inside your kitchen which you haven't touched in a couple months and you're never going to eat it, you can simply donate as well. And we also have our Breakfast Club initiative. So this is something that happens every Tuesday mornings up at level 5 from 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m., where our students are invited to have some free breakfast. And normally this coincides with their class times, whether they are about to start a class, have finished a class, or have a break in between classes. So it's a good opportunity not only for students to get some free breakfast, some food in them for the day, but also creating that opportunity for students to socialize with other students who may not necessarily be, in their same study vertical or in the same course. So I just want to highlight some of the campus events we've had in this year or this trimester so far. And there's going to be a lot of photos because I feel a photo tells 1,000 words and it's just more visual on the eye. rather than hearing me speak all the time. So we've had a little bit of sports going on with our table tennis competition. We've had our Lunar New Year, our Mardi Gras party, the Couch Open Day. So the Couch is an international student center here in Melbourne, and one that we host a lot of events together with as well. We like to support the Couch as they also offer a lot of support to the international student community. We also have the Moomba Festival, International Women's Day, our leprechaun hunt, where students could stand a chance to win some Coles vouchers for finding the leprechauns around the campus. A Feast for Freedom, which was a fundraising event for the Asylum Seeker Resource Center. The Big Meet, which was a careers fair at the Melbourne Exhibition Center, not too far from our campus. A Mornington Peninsula Day Trip. So the day trip is something we have every trimester. The location is based on students' feedback and via a poll, which they can vote with regards to where they want to go next. Our Easter celebration, Holy Festival, Autism Understanding Day, Badminton Tournament, our Eid celebration, and our most recent Wellbeing Week, because we are coming up to students having many assignments right now. Again, well-being is very, very important, and we like to highlight this and also create opportunities where students can focus on their well-being as well. So moving on, I am now going to pass the mic to Rama. So Rama is one of our Student Representative Council members. More specifically, he is also our Vice President of the SRC. So Rama, if you'd like to give a quick intro and tell us what you'd like to talk about today.
All right, thank you, Karima. Hello, everyone. My name is Rama Halim. As Karima mentioned already, I am part of the SRC. Currently, I'm studying in Master of Business Information System, and I'm from Indonesia. So I would love to share with you guys about my a short story or a short why of my so far experience in Torrens University, Melbourne. So far, one of the highlights that I would love to mention is that the learning facilitator, how I experienced with them so far has been amazing. Because first of all, I think one of the highlights as a Torrens Uni is that Torrens also offer a very compact classes. So it's very small classes, but it's more intimate, you know. So because of that, and plus the teacher are amazing. It's perfect. So the support they gave us, the discussion between the teacher and the student, it's just super easy, super nice. And I would also love to mention that they have majority of them so far in my 1 year experience in Torrens. All of them have a very modern thinking. What I mean by that is that they understand our situation here as a student in Melbourne. Living here, we also have work, we also have study, assignment, family, friends, our well-being also, that is very important. So yeah, so they understand that and they're super chill with it. So if there's any assignment you want to extend, they're pretty much like, okay, cool, no worries. Everyone here is super chill. It's super nice. And beside that, what I would love to highlight to mention to all of you guys is that the community here, the community, oh my God. In here in Melbourne, it's just I think Julian and Karima also already mentioned that in Melbourne, people hear the diversity. I think the key is the diversity. Is that everyone is just super nice, super supportive to each other. It's it took me 3 months to meet another Indonesian person. And it's wow, okay. And it's been super blessed to just meet random people from Malaysia, from Russia, from everywhere, super random and super nice because people, I feel we all understand that we are all in the same boat. We are all struggling, we are surviving, and it's just super nice because we're all just trying to help each other. So I think that's one of the best key that I would like to mention in living in Melbourne. So talking about the community, I would also love to mention about Torrens, SRC, Student Representative Council. So what is SRC? basically SRC is like a place, like a committee where we all we are the face of the Torrens, like the student voice. Like we are here to help to provide the best experience to help the well-being of the students in the students of the Torrens University. And I would love to share with you guys the pictures of what we've been doing along the way to our SRC members. And it's not really exclusive, so it's always open to everyone. First of all, we always start with our trimester with post-orientation social. So if you go into the orientations, or if you just attend for the, if you just start your trimester, there's gonna be a post-orientation social. It's like a party where it's open for everyone to just meet and greet, networking, meet new people, have fun, drink, eat some food, and basically networking. And this is where I feel like this is the best part where you can, best step to just meet new people. And if you are keen to be part of SRC members, you are very welcome. You just need to talk to us, and then we will start very strong with SRC welcoming barbecue, which is like a team building kind of thing where we play some games with each other. We make some barbecue, obviously. We eat some food, we chill, we talk, we communicate. It's fairly just a very strong start in the first trimester. Next. We also, Julian and Karim also mentioned it, Melbourne is like not surprising actually. I'm very happy to say that it's true that Melbourne is very supportive towards their students. It's like there's so many events going on in Melbourne, like crazy. And they're all free, either free or they're super cheap, like $10 or $5. And it's like everywhere, every day. We only mentioned about Study Melbourne, and there's a lot of other communities out there that provides also free events for students. And from the city of Victoria itself, they also provide a lot of events that are free. So yeah, one of them that we did exclusively was like International Student Week, not exclusive for everyone. It was International Student Week, Palace Clubhouse, because there was a part of our member in SRC have a birthday party, so we celebrated in the Palace Clubhouse. Next, and we also have an opportunity. Now this one is pretty exclusive for SRC members, where we were provided the opportunity to get a free ticket to the international comedy, like a comedy show. And also we are also planning to have an end of trimester party, which we haven't done because and then there's also volunteering opportunity with the big umbrella and opportunity of volunteering in the future. And we'll also have two clubs right now. The first club is the walking club. I know as a new student here, like we all are very overwhelmed with everything. And Melbourne is a big city and very beautiful. I think just a simple well-being activity like walking with new people, meeting new people, and just discovering the small edges of Melbourne is really nice. And that's exactly what Walking Club is. And this is the pictures of what we did. And we also have Games Club. Lastly, Games Club is basically where we all meet just an hour, and we just play some board games. Like I also mentioned earlier, like there are times where we are in the week 8 where it's already very struggling with assignment, with work, with a lot of pressure in life, with trouble and everything. Just an hour and like at 5 to 6 and just playing some games, board games with random people. And we also have some consoles, play some Super Smash Mario, if you guys know about that. Some other games. Yeah, it's very, 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 very nice to have that kind of support. Next. And lastly, if you guys are interested to learn more of our other activities previously or in the future, please follow us on our Instagram. There's 3 keywords for it. It's SRC Torrens Melbourne. And yeah, if you guys have any questions next with Karima and me, please do. Thank you.
Thanks, Rama. So that's about wraps up myself, Julian, and Rama's little presentation. If anyone has any questions for us, we are more than happy to answer those questions. So we've got one question here. How much does it cost to live in hostels? I think for hostels, the price can range depending on what type of facilities, what type of quality you would like. Julian, can you touch on this a little bit in terms of pricing?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be able to say specifically. I know that there's some information on Study Melbourne's website about cost of living, which was recently updated. But no, I wouldn't want to say what a hostel is because, like you say, there's a full range and options. Yeah, look, sorry, I wouldn't want to guess.
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
if you do want to have a look at the pricing, it would be best to check out accommodation booking platforms directly. And normally you'd be able to see the differences in price because they can range depending on what type of facilities and quality you're looking for.
Maybe if I will to add up a bit, like
Yeah,
just
go for it, Ram.
just a general idea of it. Like if it's in the city, usually it's more expensive. If it's outside the city, it's cheaper. But consider the transportation, public transportation.
And I think as well, when it comes to accommodation, Torrens University does have a partnership with Amber Student and, if I'm not mistaken, Scape Accommodation as well. So having that partnership, you'll be able to see, you know, the special pricing they offer for Torrens University students. But again, with regards to the actual cost, I think it very much differs depending on what you're going for. But just to kind of add a little bit, just because I think the Q&A chat seems a bit quiet, I just wanted to share with everyone that before working at Torrens University, I was actually a student myself. So I was a student at Torrens University starting from May 2022, and I was doing my course or my master's in special education. So it has been a very amazing journey for me to, you know, come from Malaysia to then come to Australia, studying a master's degree, and now actually being employed here full time. So I feel the support you get from Torrens not only is really great, but that ability to transition from, you know, studying to getting possibly a part-time, you know, opportunity to then a full-time opportunity is really amazing to have. But yeah, if there is anything else, Rama, Julian, you'd like to add on as well, feel free.
No, I think I said it all. Just a great city, a great state, a lot of emphasis on international education, a lot of emphasis on being the education state. So yeah, I'd say that's really it.
So just seeing a question in the chat, is the school religiously active? So Torrens University doesn't support just one religion. We do respect everyone from all backgrounds, all cultures and all religions as well. So I wouldn't say we do follow just one, but we do definitely respect and celebrate everyone from all backgrounds. And I think that's pretty much it from our space. So thank you so much for attending this session. I hope you've learned a little bit more about studying in Melbourne and studying in the Melbourne campus of Torrens as well with myself, Julian, Rama. Thank you again for coming for today as well, Julian, Rama. And if you have any further questions or if you want to find out more about the university, please feel free to have a look at the chat. I think Sharon has shared the link with everyone there.
Thank you guys.
All
Bye-bye.
right, see
Thanks,
you. Have a
guys.
nice night. Bye.